Hundreds of founders have come to the program with startup ideas since 2015, and they've left with validation and an action plan around customer, messaging, acquisition channels, pricing, and growth. Our alumni have gone on to accelerator programs like Y Combinator. They've raised money from top investors, or they've built profitable companies without needing accelerators or investors. Those last ones are my favorite types of companies. First 6 months from idea to something can feel like you're alone in a pitch black room. You're stumbling around, hoping to find something that works. Tacklebox exists to turn the lights on and show you the way forward. I've been starting and advising companies for the past 13 years, and I've been running Tacklebox since 2015. We say we're here to help you navigate the tricky and counterintuitive early days, to share everything we've learned from our own startups and from the hundreds of startups we've worked with in the past. And that's definitely true. But over the past few years, I've learned what I'm really here for. I'm a surrogate co-founder for you for the 7 weeks you're part of Tacklebox, and I'm an evangelist for you and your company for the 7 years after that. Now let's pivot a bit and talk about your startup and how Tacklebox can help you. We'll start with something really uplifting. Why is your startup going to fail? Maybe this isn't the most fun thing to think about, but it's important to know so you can avoid it. Most startups fail, 95% or whatever that number is, so yours probably will too. When I ask founders this question during our application process, they rattle off things like funding, co-founders, sales, team, competition. Those are the things that'll probably keep you up at night, but at this stage, they're irrelevant, and they definitely won't be why you fail. I can promise you that. They're all symptoms of a much bigger problem. The reason your startup will fail is customer indifference, plain and simple. It is ridiculously hard to get anyone to do anything. I guarantee that whatever you do today is almost identical to what you did 7 days ago and 7 years before that. Most people's habits run deep. It's a borderline miracle you're watching this video right now. The amount of work that went into this interaction is staggering. The first step of building a successful business is understanding that customer indifference is what you're up against. It is your biggest nemesis because customers make no sense. They'll tell you they've got a problem. They'll tell you they want your solution. Then they won't buy it. They won't even use it when you try and give it to them for free, and they won't even be able to tell you why they don't want to use it. It's always easier for customers to not do something than to do something. Customers can stay irrational longer than you can stay solvent. And humans are way better at visualizing the downside of something than they are visualizing the upside. They're more likely to see how working with you could go wrong than go right. And that's why 95% of startups fail. Not because the founders weren't smart or working on a real problem, not because they couldn't find funding or they couldn't find a CTO, because changing behavior is monumentally difficult, and the founders didn't get to the level of transparency needed with their customers before they built them something. And that, at its core, is what we do at Tacklebox. We help you build a system to get to that level of transparency, to be sure you're building a startup that's worth your time. That if you do throw yourself into something, customers will be willing to change their behavior for you, and you won't be left hanging in the breeze like the other 95% of founders.